Hi, in this video we're going to paint this pretty Valentine's Day card. This painting is very simple, to be honest, and it's focusing mostly on repetition of patterns and also placements of these patterns. To help you with the placements, I've got a downloadable template of this painting so you can print the outlines and follow this video to get these paintings on. So let's get started. The supplies that we need is a cardstock. It could be any cardstock. Watercolor cardstock would give you a really good experience while you paint, but any thick cardstock should be okay to paint. The brush that I'm going to use is Princeton round brush number 5. Any smaller round brush with a very thin nice tip should work as well. And I've got a watercolor cake. I forgot the brand name, but it's got a couple of colors, I think 37 colors or so, and I'm predominantly going to use the pinks and the greens. So any sort of watercolor pan with pinks and green should be fine. I've got a separate palette here to mix my colors because this one doesn't have a place to mix the shades. Another item you would need is a washi tape. Just mask off the areas at the center where you want the sentiment to be there, and then paint just casually around. So let's get started with the card. What I have done is I've taped off the center portion, and further I've used a pencil to draw the outline of what I want to have. So as you can see, I've drawn hearts falling along the band on the top and the bottom, and I also have some hearts across. The intention is to have leaves and the hearts are supposed to be the flowers, and I've arranged them in such a manner that it kind of forms an oval shape, so the hearts are have the maximum height at the center and it's kind of reducing at the edges. If you'd like, you can have a downloadable version of this from my blog. All the links will be there in the description box, so you can head straight over to it and print them out on the cardstock, or just look at it and draw yourself. But anyways, let's get started with painting this card now. I'll start off painting all the hearts and then go about into painting the leaves, so I can decide what sort of colors I want for my heart. It's mostly going to be red and pink, so I'm going to have different shades of reds and pinks. I had some pink already in my palette from the watercolor heart card that I created. If you haven't watched the video, I'll link it up above so you can just go and watch it. I'm going to use the very same pink, just use the tip of the brush and then draw the heart, that's all. So now you get the idea why I had the masking tape over there, because it really helps me in kind of painting without really worrying about where the border was and all that. So I've done the first heart and I'm going to keep doing similar hearts. I want to have the pinks not really side by side, so the same pink I'll be using, say, for a heart over here. And I'm also making sure that each of the hearts are of different sizes. Some of them are going to be really fat, some of them are really going to be thin and long, so it's just going to be different sorts of hearts. The paper I'm using is not really watercolor, so you can really see the more I paint, the more strokes is visible. So I'm not really going over and over again. I'm just making sure the entire heart has all the colors. Kind of happy with all the pink hearts. I'm going to pick up another shade, say a red, and mix a little bit to create a different sort of shade. Lighten it up really well. Take off all that excess of water and then go ahead and paint the next heart. So this is a different sort of, this is a different sort of shade. I'm keeping it really light because I want to come back and add some borders and probably some sort of dots and some details to it later. happy with how this looks, and I'm going to pick up another shade, probably an orange, and mix it with the same sort of pink to create a different shade. It looks a bit brighter, so I'm going to water it down a little bit more and see if it looks okay. The reason I kept mixing all the shades I've used so far is to make sure that they all look a bit cohesive. So even this red that I'm using has a bit of pink in it, so it all looks put together because they all have some hints of shades of each other. Alright, so I'm happy with how the hearts look now, and I'll let it dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to mix up my green. I'll pick up my green from the palette. So this is how my original green looks like. It's a bit of like a dirty sort of green, moss green. And I'm going to pick up my pink a bit, and then also the orange, and mix it here. I have a feeling that I need more of green because it's looking more like red, so I'm going to add a little bit more of green. And yes, this is the shade that I'm going to use for my green. I'll water it down so that I still have a bit of flexibility to add details. If I have really intense pigment for my base layer, it's going to be really hard for me to add details. I might need to go with, you know, black for the detail, which I don't like. I want it to be more pastel and light. Well, so I've got the green, and with a very sharp edge, I'm going to draw the stems first. I'm going to follow the pencil outlines that I've got, and next I'm going to go ahead and draw the leaves. And for the leaves, I'm going to use, because the hearts are pretty huge, I want to have bigger leaves in the similar proportions. I'm going to use my brush to have the leaves small and large as well. So this is how I'm going to paint my leaves. It's going to be just strokes, small and large. That's it. I'm going to do the same for all the hearts. So just use your brush and then have strokes of leaves. So some of them could be large. So I've got a gap here, so I'm going to fill that with a small one. I've got one and there's a gap, so I'm going to fill it with a small one. I'll flip the canvas so that it's easier for me to paint the leaves on this side. I'll first draw the lines. I'm making sure I'm not touching or smudging off what I've already painted. I'll go ahead and draw the stems first. When I draw the stems again, I'm not stressing too much on the stems. I'm just going with very light touch so that it looks more natural. Okay, for the leaves again, strokes, small and big, small, big, small. And then I'm also adding a few around the hearts. So we are done with this stem and the leaves, and we still have a lot of gaps going, so we'll need more leaves. I'm going to dilute a bit so that we have a lighter shade, and then I'm going to go in and add some leaves here in the background. So it need not necessarily look like leaves, but I'm just going to add some leaves here. So just near the tape that we have, I've got some gaps here, so I'm going to fill them there, here, maybe here, here and here. So that's the second level of leaves that we've added. And now we need to add leaves to make sure it's got an even distribution of leaves across this arch over there. So I can see a major gap over here. I'll add some leaves there without any stems. It's going to be leaves just in the background. So it could be leaves branching out from behind the flowers. The hearts are the flowers, remember. Okay, so I've added some leaves here. I've added some there as well. And now I think I'm okay. I should have actually added a stem here, I think, because there's a really huge gap over there. I'm going to flip on the other side and do the very same thing on the side as well. The reason I diluted the water so much is because I want the background leaves and the leaves for the stem to look different. So I'm now really happy with the leaves, and I'll wash my brush and come back to add some details. For the details, we'll need the very same pink shade and sort of add an outline, not exactly an outline, but still an outline. So let's see how we can go about with that. So I've picked up the very same pink, not adding too much of water. I have a really thin tip and I'm going to add the outline. So it's going to be small strokes. That's it. Broken strokes, but in the shape of a heart. I'll do the same for all the hearts. Sorry, all the pink hearts. One thing to remember is watercolor dries off really pale. So it might look really dark now, but it's going to dry out pale when it dries out. So I've kind of marked all the pinks. Okay, so we're done with that, and since I have the orange paint, I'm going to go ahead and add some more details. I'm going to do dots for the orange heart, so I'm going to go and add a bit of dots, evenly spaced dots. All the while you're painting, make sure that you're not sort of smudging off what is already painted. And for these ones, I'm going to add check sort of shapes. For that, I'm going to go lightly, and I'm going to go with bulging sort of curved lines so that I can get that 3D effect for my hearts. I'm also making sure I don't have whole lines completely marked. I'm going to go ahead and draw really small broken lines so it looks really nice. So that was one of the heart, and at this point I think I'm kind of confused between the pinks and the reds. All the hearts are looking sort of same to me. Yeah. So just make sure that you're not crisscrossing the entire heart. It's just going to be, smaller hearts need to have really small lines. So make sure you have just really few of them. I'm gonna go and probably draw like another heart within that, or maybe I should go with tiny hearts within that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with tiny hearts within the hearts because the pink hearts are really huge. I've got enough space to draw the tiny hearts, so that's a nice one. Love this. It looks really nice. The smaller hearts are going to have, again, really few hearts, but yeah, wherever I can't really fill in the hearts, I'm going to add some shapes so that it resembles as though it was supposed to be a heart, but I couldn't have enough space for the rest of the hearts. Yeah, so now we are okay with the heart, and I love this color combination. It's so pretty. And I do feel that there isn't much we need to add into the leaves except for maybe tiny twigs. So I'm going to add the green without much of mixing. I'm going to use the really pure green I'm going to make a sharp tip and then draw the stem so that it's more visible outside, and then maybe add a bit of leaf here to just pop out, just a bit of line in the center of the leaves that we've already painted, so that it's got some definition to the leaves. That's all. I'm not doing it for all of the leaves, I'm just doing it for a few of them, probably just the main ones that I feel deserves a bit of details. I feel like this looks really good. I'm going to take off the tape now. Make sure that everything is dry before you take the tape off, and then we can write a sentiment at the center. This is what the card looks like now. I love the color combination, and I also love the fact that we have the tape here, and because of which we've got these really sharp lines and it looks very nice. One tip I have is when you have the tape there, make sure that you fill in most of the gaps here. Otherwise, you're not going to get that sort of, line finish if you don't have much activity going on in here. So that would be one of my recommendations. And yeah, you would get this downloadable version on my website, and you can get that in the link in the description box below. I'm going to add a sentiment right now over here just with a black gel pen. I've marked with pencil just to make sure that the width is equal at both the sides, and I'm going to write Happy Valentine's Day. So that's our final card. I hope you liked this. If you did, please do have a look at the other Valentine's card video that I've done this year, and I'm pretty sure that you'd love them. Until I see you with another video, it's bye bye and take care from me, Angela.